It makes it even more.
Oga Peter, have we started recording?
Yeah, we have.
We have.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
I did a video on TikTok,
hmm.
and I talked about a generation that is so sensitive yet so insensitive. Sounds like a paradox. That's what it's called, paradox, Abi. Because on one hand, right, everybody is in. Most people feel they are in their feelings. You know, watch what you say to people. Don't say, and you say, or everybody is just
Emotionally alert.
yes, easily triggered. And on the other hand, the same people, everybody is out to get the next person. You would come
So we are
out
both
to
victims
show.
and predators at the same time.
I think we're even less of victims
I'm more
because
of
everybody is looking to get the other person. But when it suits us, we play the victim. You tell people to come out and speak up and talk about how vulnerable they are. Tell people to be open and all of that.
and then
And then when they do,
you beat them down for it. But from the flip side, can a joke be expensive? Is it possible in the context of what humor is? Can a joke be expensive?
well, I think that I think
Or
that's
do we have problems differentiating between a joke and an insult?
yes, yes, yes. I think I would like to look at it from that perspective. If a joke is directed, it's a targeted joke, at your pain, then it's unfair. It's an
Okay.
expensive joke,
But
you know.
what do you describe as pain? So we I don't know if it was evident in our own time. When I mean our own time, early 2000s. Now, when you see someone is fat or someone is short, they feel offended. We literally make jokes of Aki and Popo all our
Oh
lives.
well, so
So would you? Some people will you always see height as something painful or
no,
size as something painful
no.
because certain people have become sensitive to that.
Oh, okay, okay. No, in that context, no. In fact, I mean, if you're fat, you're fat. Like
So why can't I say you are fat
you
when you are actually fat?
so it can be a description and an insult. It
What
depends
makes
on
it an insult is what I want to
so what
understand. If
makes
I'm
it an
describing you and help okay, the fat lady there. Like you are fat amongst the others. How else will I describe you?
so I feel that it becomes an insult when the intent is to provoke an emotion. Like you want to make this person
Feel
feel
bad.
bad. It's an insult, but it's descriptive the way you say it. Now, how the person will receive it or perceive it is another thing
That's what
altogether.
determines if the joke is expensive.
You know. So
The
but
person who the audience or the listener determines if a joke is expensive. Which means um I don't
so
know
it,
if the speaker is alleviated of whatever, like people would say, I am not responsible for how you comprehend my message.
yeah.
My own is to pass the message.
Sometimes I think you're responsible for how
You deliver the
you
message.
deliver the message, and because the way you deliver the message could also influence how it's received. Now, I think that the way people interpret the
That's another
message
thing.
is
Comprehension
another
is
thing
a basic,
altogether.
which is why our first subject going in school that time was quantitative and verbal reasoning. People don't know why we did that. You have to understand how people just thought primary one. Let's just do quantitative and
Yeah,
verbal.
yeah.
There's a reason why that forms the basis or the foundation of our
And we did
education.
comprehension in English.
Bam! You have to write essay. How I spent my last holiday. 150 words. All of those. So we learned how to count and we learned how to write. We learned how to imagine and bring it to life.
No, but I
So it's the
think
same way when you're listening to someone, you should be able to paint a picture in your mind of what the person is saying.
no, I like the way you put it. Not people not being able to differentiate between
A joke and an
a
insult.
joke and an insult, right? I feel that we have somehow inadvertently breeded or still breeding a very weak generation.
Mentally weak
Yes,
generation.
the sensitivity is too much that everybody wants to gauge or gag you. Everybody wants to censor what you have to say. People can't take jokes anymore, and we live in a very charged society now. Everything is triggering. There were times where even tribal jokes,
Yeah.
there were
But
times
now it's
where
sensitive,
people
highly
could crack
sensitive.
jokes about Igbo people, crack joke about Yoruba people and everybody will laugh at it.
It was a given that an Igbo man likes money. So we
So
joke
they
about
make
the fact
jokes
that
around
Igbo know
it.
they see money and all of, we make a joke about the Yoruba people being lazy
Yes,
and all of those
and
things.
being fearful.
Fearful,
We talk
yes.
about Yoruba
We
people
know they
being
did there if
fearful.
things go down because Yoruba man has already picked up.
And
The
in fact,
Hausa
it's
man is
actually
this,
Yoruba people that makes jokes out of those things, and everybody laughs at it. But now, a Yoruba man can't make a joke about
an
Igbo
Igbo
people.
person. Before they now turn it to
You feel
being
offended,
a
So now it's a very problematic situation because we now can't express ourselves, and then if we can't express ourselves, we can't have an authentic society.
how
Because
did
everybody is careful. Everybody is trying to be politically correct. Everybody is
how
trying
did
not
we
to
build
offend.
sense of humor? Because it starts from there. You first off, you need to understand the intent of what someone is saying, not just what the person is saying. It's like when you're chatting on WhatsApp,
Yeah.
you express yourself better in a voice note than when you text.
Yeah.
Because whatever you say, the
Can be
person doesn't understand the tone
Yeah.
behind it to know if it is firm or humorous or something. So I think it starts with the sense of humor of the listener.
Yeah, there's
We
that.
put a lot of pressure on the person speaking to say, don't say this, don't do this. I mean, I have a lot of friends who are in the MC world, compare world. Before when you get a job, come and do MC for my reception. They'll still tell them, don't say this, don't do this, don't.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be creatively free, even if I still know the line between being direct targeted, between targeting an audience or
Yeah.
something, but I should still be creatively free.
Oh, well, there's an exception in that instance because if I'm inviting you for a job to MC an event for me, I can tell you what goes and
Of
what
course,
doesn't
of
go.
course.
But if I come to your comedy show, I feel
Okay,
like people need to understand
that's another thing.
if you're going for a comedy show,
Be ready to
right?
laugh.
Just be ready. It's an entertainment. Everything is a joke. Even though comedians use it to do social commentaries and all of that. But sometimes some jokes have to be at the expense of someone.
True,
Do you understand?
true.
Where I draw the line is if you make jokes out of people's pains, and let me clarify, say for example, there's a cripple in the audience. You don't make jokes out of that. Now, it is dicey because there are some who would not mind. Do you understand? There's some who would not
This
mind.
thing you mentioned.
But I feel like, especially if the person is visibly
So how will you
present.
know those who don't mind? So the thing is, Trevor Noah, who I love so much, gave an illustration about this where he went for a show and while he was performing, he didn't know that a part of his audience was a partially deaf and dumb person. So when he was through with everything and he wanted to go, the guy came to him. I was trying to, be happy that he came to the show, and he was like, "Oh, what happened? You don't make jokes about deaf people." He was taken aback. Was like, I am not supposed to. I
Yeah.
mean, you should feel
Yeah,
offended.
yeah, yeah.
He was like, what do you mean? I'm a person. I want you to feel my world. Like, he was trying to say, I am deaf. I know I am deaf.
Yes.
So I want you to make me laugh in my own world.
To recognize
Recognize that we exist. So how will I now know that you won't feel offended if you are that person? That's where the line is.
I think that how that comes across is that those are
It's
things,
rare.
those are situations, right, that are not very,
Frequent.
they are not like very okay situations. These are people that deserve our empathy, not pity, empathy.
Empathy.
Like it feels like we are laughing at their circumstance, their pain.
Yeah.
So even if they don't mind, since you cannot gauge whether or not they
They
mind,
mind.
you just let
To
it
be
go.
safe.
Yes, you just let it go. In those instances, it might be funny. Jokes are supposed to be funny. And the fact that somebody might find it offensive should not be your problem. But when it borders around people's what's the word now? Disabilities and people's pain, like people's direct pain, then it's unfair. Except if it's within your circle. For example, when I lost my father, we made jokes about it. And we laughed. Now we know each other on the one-on-one basis.
Yeah, somebody else can come to that space.
They know what I can take
and make a joke about,
and what I couldn't
even
take.
if you can take it, a stranger can make that joke.
That's the point. So this person knew. In fact, the person made the joke and almost immediately wanted to apologize. I said, no, I even prefer it than somebody telling me sorry, sorry, sorry. Do you
Chris
get?
Rock and Will Smith,
Maybe
they were friends. No, they were friends.
yeah, yeah.
And if you follow the concept or the context before and after, Chris Rock was operating in that space of familiarity.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
that.
just know
He
you,
was
I
even
know your
laughing.
wife.
Yeah, I was laughing about the.
I know, and I know your wife's pain, but I also know your wife. Like, we are paddies, and based on that premise, I should be able to say this and you laugh.
Yeah, so again, that's where personal differences come to play. So at that instant, something triggered Will, and then of course, he already gave out the warning. Keep my wife's name out of your. You should have just let it go. Do you understand? But I don't know if he thought Will was joking because Will
No,
was
actually,
very
he
serious.
slapped him before he said that.
Okay, yeah, he slapped him
He
and
went
went
there,
back.
slapped him, went back to his seat. That was when he now said, keep, he now
Yeah,
explained why he
why
slapped.
he? So I
So
think
the slap came first.
I think that Will overreacted, being that he's an entertainer. He makes jokes
Do you
too.
understand?
He makes jokes
He
too.
makes
He
jokes
should,
too.
but there's something bigger.
Trauma. No, there's something trauma does
There's
that you are not in
something. There
control
was
of.
something bigger going on with Will. That joke just triggered it. And
Yeah.
something was going on with him, and he needed a way to express himself, and that was the best way he could express himself at the time. Even
The
though
devil had a field day, is
he
what they
even
say. The devil had a field
he
day.
eventually had to apologize. But the bottom line is that we should not look to gag and censor each other, right? We should be able to be free. We should be able to be free so that we have an authentic society. Not everybody walking on eggshell. I don't know what I would say that would offend you. You don't know what you would say that would offend me. So everybody is careful. It becomes very plastic.
Yeah, it
You
becomes
you
like
you can be respectful without being like feeling caged. You can be respectful without feeling caged. We used to laugh at each other. You say something, people will laugh, people will crack joke, and
if you were
everybody
flogged
laughs.
in school, your classmates will still laugh at you for being flogged, and you soak
These
it
days,
in.
everybody wants to be pampered.
It trickles into
Don't
parenting
say
as well.
something. Don't
It
say.
trickles into parenting where they say a parent can't flog because there's this era we are in where
It's
flogging is now
called
regarded as
gentle parenting.
flogging is now regarded as harassment. I don't get it.
Abuse. Yeah.
Abuse.
They call it gentle parenting.
So
So
if the child, there's nothing like gentle
a
stubbornness.
child will be misbehaving,
There's no
but you
gentle
can't.
misbehavior. So if there is no gentle misbehavior, why should I have gentle parenting?
No, they will tell you you don't have a child yet, so you don't understand.
Wow, I
You're
was
not.
once a child, so I
You're
should
not.
understand.
Yeah, well, you were the child in that instance, so they will tell you you're not a parent yet, so you don't understand. Because again, that's another way we address issues. We get very dismissive about it. If you have not been in this,
You can't talk about it.
don't talk about it. In
Another
a
way to gag people too.
in a sense, it makes sense. But then there's an aspect of it that doesn't make sense because it presupposes that every topic that you have an opinion on, it must be from lived experiences.
And it's not always so.
No, it doesn't. It
I
doesn't
mean,
work like
sports
that.
is a very good example.
We all quote Paul when we're talking about marriage, submission, and the rest. He wasn't married when he made those, but that's what we use.
Jesus spoke about adultery and all of those things. He himself wasn't married.
You can have insight. You can have insight into certain things.
Especially if you've given yourself to observation.
Exactly. To study, learning, and all of that. You can have insight. You can be a child psychologist and all of that. You don't have to be a parent to have that. But there's a different kind of experience that comes with
Being a parent.
being a
Yeah.
parent.
True.
Do you get? There's a different kind of experience. But again, at the end of the day, it's still at the level of opinion. Everybody can share their opinion. The point is, if you're gently parenting your child, and then you're raising a child that is mannerless and disrespectful, don't bring them to my side. Let me not catch your mannerless child.
Yeah.
And to display.
And then he's now
no.
living under the prism of my parents no fit flog me, so why?
I'm not your parent. If you disrespect your parents, it's fine. Me, even your parents disrespect me, I won't take it.
Not talk of you.
Talk more ahead. So everybody be guided. Because there's this thing about parenting is the fact that if you claim you don't care, right? And I claim I don't care, and then the other person is raising their child right,
That
it's a
person is like the
problem.
bad guy. Yeah.
It's a problem
There's
because
good cop, bad cop thing.
everybody's children will meet in the same society.
They are the ones we see in school. They become the
That's
schoolmates, the
where the problem
classmates,
comes in. So
church mates. We
I
see in
should be
church.
concerned about how you raise your kid. I won't tell
Yeah.
you how to raise them, but I'll be
We thrived on
concerned.
community parenting. People forget these things. We thrived on, even our parents went to, let's say, show gratitude to parents that corrected us.
No, of
Like,
course,
thank you very much for flogging my son,
it
because I
used
mean,
to take a village
yeah,
to raise a child.
but community parenting doesn't seem to exist anymore.
No, it doesn't. It shouldn't even, because everything has changed.
Yeah,
So
the
we don't have
dimensions have changed.
communities anymore in the sense of communities. We just have neighborhood. We just want to have people living around together. You don't even know your neighbors these days. You
I just
don't know them
are we
enough
neighbors or
to
co-tenants?
even trust them. Yeah, it
In the
just
sense of the word,
it's
anyway.
just co-tenants.
Yeah.
Oh, we live in the same estate. We live in the same area. That's all. You don't know anybody, so that cannot happen anymore. But at least I think that it's important not to continue to encourage this mental weakness. And people should be able. You don't have, somebody said something and I remember it. You don't have the right not to be offended
That's another thing.
in this world. You
Yeah.
don't have, you can't go around with chip on your
With their-
shoulder and expecting that everybody.
People don't have the full, how will I put it? People don't know that being vulnerable is actually advisable. Like, you should have somebody you're vulnerable with. You should have a space where you can be vulnerable, because if you're uptight everywhere, you really don't know what you're bottling up. Where in that comedy show or that humor space can come in. Sometimes the reason why we go to visit our friends, the reason why you want to watch Chelsea and Arsenal, you don't want to watch it alone. You want to go to the viewing center because you enjoy the banter.
The sense
You
of
enjoy,
community is very important.
Yeah, you can actually lose, but I mean,
The sense of community is very important. The point is that you should be able, both the talker
and the listener.
and the talkie, who is the listener, you should be able to filter through jokes.
Yeah.
You know which one is a joke and know which one is an insult. Basically, if you go for a comedy show, especially if you go for a comedy show, you laugh. If somebody, except if they directly insult you, not
Most of them do.
so you
They
don't,
actually pick on their,
it's picking on your audience as a comedian.
what do you think about that?
It's a crass behavior.
Some do it creatively though. Not all of them insult.
I think some of them they are taking spontaneity too far. They're trying to be spontaneous.
Yeah,
and
like engage
trying
with
to
the
do
audience.
crowd work.
Yeah,
But some of them are very
they now
crass with it.
overdo it.
There are people who are very brilliant in doing crowd work. There are these guys that I know from Laughter Cave. That's their comedy club.
Yeah.
Ogene and Ose. Very brilliant, excellent crowd work. I've seen a lot of their videos and I don't see anyone that is cringe. It not. And then, unfortunately, some of the popular comedians are the ones being very annoying.
That,
so you are
because they are
insulting.
existing on a premise that, okay, I have that bragging right, I have the credence to be able to pick on you. You came to my show. But
No. It's very disrespectful. There are those that are outrightly disrespectful. So those ones, even if people laugh, some of those people will just force laughter so that it won't look
So
as
that
if they are
they are
uptight,
getting
but they are
offended.
embarrassed. So if you don't know how to do crowd work, leave it alone. Go with the set that you already
in fact, there are
prepared.
certain dignitaries that go to comedy shows and they know they become the center of
Yes,
attraction. They
yes,
become the
yes.
subject of every comedian that comes to the. Sometimes I even feel like the previous comedians have mentioned his name. Move on. Do something else. The
everybody
same person
wants-
will come and still say you and come
And
again and still mention, like, is it the
Some
only
of
one
them
in the show?
is begging.
Yeah.
And then some of them, it's just creative laziness.
Like, is it the only one on the show?
It's very unprofessional. That's why I respect people like K Bakasi, Basket Mouth, Bobby and Co. Like,
Okay.
they are very good with. They don't come and start pandering to people or trying to. You are a professional. Do your job. So, and then for you who is the listener, if you go for a comedy show, you laugh.
You are a client,
You don't
do your job.
You don't go trying to censor which joke was funny, which one was annoying. If we do that, every joke might annoy somebody.
And the truth is, you don't have to make sense of every joke. It's a joke.
It's a joke.
Sometimes we try to overanalyze what somebody is saying to understand, where is it coming from? It's not stylishly doing anything. Just laugh.
Just take it
Just
easy.
laugh.
Just take it easy and laugh, Jerry. Anyway, that's pretty much the thing. Yeah. Bottom line, can we have a generation that can, with decent mental toughness, good sense of humor,
Sense of humor
and
is a
then
thing.
high level of tolerance.
Yeah.
That's when we can laugh together and laugh at each other and laugh with each other, you know.
We grew up looking at someone and naming the person because of how they look. Like you look like a Sadiq, you look
Yeah.
like a Nikechi, and we laughed at it. No, but
It's
now
just
it's
that
not seen as
some
as
of those things
tribal.
again. So
It
yeah,
has tribal
yeah.
lines around it. But again, we laughed at it because it was humorous to us. You look like Nkechi. It wasn't offensive.
Anyway,
It was.
what do you think? Do you agree that we have built a weak generation? Do you agree that we're
Yeah.
becoming so insensitive?
Can a joke be expensive?
Yeah, how expensive can a joke get? Do you believe that a joke can be expensive? And what type of joke do you think is expensive? Let us know in the comments. Like, share. Thank you very much. Subscribe if you like.